present here. Before we begin today's program, a couple of announcements. Please ensure your phones are switched off or are on silent mode. This is a courtesy extended to the others seated around you. Please do not come up to take pictures as it may distract our children. We want all the sparkles and flashes to come from the stage. Our official photographer, Mr. Sarvanan, will cover the entire program. Your children are in safe hands, so we request you to sit back, relax and enjoy the program so as to not disturb the ambience. Children will not be sent during the program, and in case any child is uncomfortable, that child will be handed to the parents by our school staff. Thank you for your understanding. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, vibrant and young, boys and girls, and our gorgeous and graceful grandparents. Welcome to our 12th Annual Day program. Did you know that when water boils, it creates thousands of bubbles on Earth? What do you think would happen if water boiled in space? I'll tell you. It will produce one giant undulating bubble that is due to lack of buoyancy and convection. Interesting, right? Now you know why astronauts prefer drinking tea in land and not on space. Here is another one. I'm sure this is very fascinating to know that the center of the galaxy smells like rum and tastes like raspberries. Wow, I must say, what a combination. The perfect buzz enhancer. 13.7 billion years ago, there was a blast and our universe was created. It is said that when the universe was young, it was hot and started to cool with age. From complete darkness to the current colorful life we live in, everything was created in seconds. Amazing, right? I'm sure you all must be eager to know more details on this. So brace yourselves, for the children of Sprouts are here to showcase the Big Bang Theory. To start off today's program, we have a few children of the primary environment on stage to invoke the blessings of the Almighty with a prayer. Moving on, we have Mehak Jain from Primary 1, Diya Rajkumar from Primary 2, Shiva Ganesh from Primary 3, and Masila Anburanesh from Primary 4, and Lehri from the Mogape branch, who are going to be lighting the lamp. Thank you, children. Now, I would like to invite my colleagues, Aishwarya and Vaishnavi, to take you on a Montessori journey of learning from concrete to abstract.
Good morning. All of you, take out your maths textbooks, turn to page 26. For 5 minutes, read the paragraph on the area of a triangle. Who's talking over there? Please stand up. There will be no need for discussion. Have you finished? See page 27, there's a point over there. Area of a triangle is half into base into height. Please underline this and write it in your notebooks. This is how most of us probably learn the area of a triangle in our 6th, 7th or even 8th standard. Does it seem stark and dull? Who is to blame? Educational policies are improving. Teachers are trying their best. If you notice, textbooks nowadays do have activities like cutting a rectangle and seeing if a triangle is half the area of a rectangle. But how many of us actually remember this? How many of our teachers actually had the time in a 45-minute class to ensure that every child could understand the proof for this simple formula? I even recall having a list of formulae that I would determinedly cram into my head before an exam. Area of a triangle is half into base into height, area of a rectangle is length into breadth, and the list would go on and on. Sometimes we would wonder, how did people, great thinkers, discover these theorems and formulae? What drove them? The truth is, every discovery takes time, patience, and a connection to the world around us. Every discoverer has an emotional connect with his discovery. Every invention has a history of struggles, failures, and yes, everything takes time. Nature was a kind mother. She had time to give and an environment to nurture all the beings that live on this planet. She also gave hands as tools to the primitive man, who slowly used them to bring order to his world. He found order and therefore security in the fact that the sun would rise and set every day. It is through these human tendencies of order, direction, and our need for precision that geometry was born. Just look around. Nature is full of shapes and geometric forms. Slice a cucumber, you find a circle. Look at a flower, a lily, you find a beautiful hexagon. Look at a butterfly for lines of symmetry. And look at a flock of birds flying in the air to understand the congruency of triangles. The child is observing all of this all the time. Area is not a formula, it's a way of life. In the house of children, even our toddlers, while looking for a space to put down their sitting mats, are actually consciously ensuring that there is enough area to spread out their mats. While placing the oilcloth on the chowki, he makes sure that the two rectangles are exactly on top of each other. This is congruency. While pouring grains, the child is figuring out the formula or the volume of the jar herself. Would you like to see this in action at Sprouts? A day in the life of a toddler child at Sprouts. Putting down the chowki. Notice how beautifully she places the oilcloth exactly on top of the chowki. Pouring grains, all these exercises of practical life actually help the child's cognitive depth. The child's workspace is the mat that he puts for himself or the chowki. It's a well-defined area in which the child works. Akshara here is stacking the cuboids on top of each other based on their size. She does this independently, confidently, without any help. Caitlin's eye-hand coordination is excellent here as she works with the material. Aditya is actually classifying the shapes himself. It's a busy day in the toddler environment. After they're done, they like to wind up the materials themselves by putting it back. And off she goes to choose the next material. Coordination, concentration, and independence. But all of this that you saw was very beautiful, but practical and hands-on. How do we take the child to that abstract formula called area is equal to half into base into height by the time he is 11? This is what we're here to tell you today. When a child comes into the primary environment in the house of children, We help him become aware of the shapes he has observed. We must remember, from 2.5 to 6 years, his senses are at their optimum level and he learns by using his hands. Dr. Montessori realized this through her observations of children, and she came up with some sensorial material to help the child emotionally connect to what he is learning. The geometry cabinet introduces the child sensorially to shapes, where he traces the insets and the frames with his 2 writing fingers. There is a presentation tray with the 3 basic figures of circle, triangle and square, and there are 6 trays with circles, rectangles, triangles, polygons, rectilinear and curvilinear figures. This is when the hero of our story, the triangle, with its 3 sides and 3 corners, is first introduced to the child. The geometry cards are also introduced, where the child uses his visual sense to match the insets to the cards by actually subconsciously matching the areas. The cards come in 3 sets, fully colored, another with broad margins and another with thin margins. After this, the child also works with 3-dimensional solids, the geometrical solids. The child next comes across the triangle in many different sizes, angles and colors while working with the constructed triangle boxes. Each of these boxes have triangles with simple black lines on them, which when joined together to form a single black line result in so many shapes. Truly, triangles are the best at constructing. Enough talk. Let's see all of this happening in the primary environment. Children are free to choose these materials once they have been presented, and they can try out variations with the material and even come up with their own discoveries. Hopefully, we can show you this while working with our camera-conscious children. A day in the life of a primary environment child at Sprouts working with a pink tower. Geometry cabinet, very carefully taken to the mat where the child works. Here Meenakshi is beautifully tracing the insets and placing it in the frame. Masala here has decided to work with the geometric cards. She's arranging it beautifully on the mat. Like she's found a match. Tanvi here is working with all the 3 sets of cards. She's arranging it very diligently. Look at how confidently Arjun's hands move as he looks for the right inset to place. He's actually matching the 3D inset to the 2-dimensional card. Very independent. Here is tracing the inset and the frame. She can't seem to put it in. So Arna, her friend, is actually pointing out the right inset. This is the advantage of a mixed age environment in Sprouts. We wait and wind up and move on to other activities like the drawing insets as they grow older. Trinomial cube, which is actually your A plus B plus C whole cube formula. And as the child grows older, we present the constructed triangle boxes. And Tridev here has chosen one of the boxes. He's joining the black lines to form new shapes. Yogita here doesn't need the black lines anymore. She's working with the blue constructed triangles where she makes the shapes herself. Preetham here is actually discovering something. He's found out that the areas of the triangles are all the same, so he's placing them one on top of each other. This child has discovered congruency on his own. The geometry cabinet, envisioned by Dr. Maria Montessori, the pioneer herself. The hands are the instruments of man's intelligence. has now been enabled to sensorially understand that triangles help form other shapes, like the rectangle, for example. Simultaneously, the child has been working with numbers up to 10,000, with cubes, squares, and has developed a rich language thanks to the various activities in the environment. Now it is time for us to fast forward and learn how the area of a triangle is finally introduced in the elementary environment. Every activity that he has been doing since he was a toddler at Sprouts will be helping him in this journey. Over to Vaishnavi Sridhar. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Aishwarya. That is precisely how the child's journey in the world of geometry begins. He has already sunk deep into a subject that makes his very environment and way of life. Elementary is a stage of deeper learning and stronger foundations. From whole shapes he has learned in his earlier environment, he now begins to explore these shapes in more detail. He continues working with his constructive triangles and the geometry cabinet trays. He learns that each of these triangles that he comes across has a special name to it. Some are defined by their angles and some by the length of their sides, and yet each one is special. He learns the names of these different triangles and the new shapes that they construct. From a point to a line segment, from a segment to a surface, and from a surface to the solid, he's learning each shape in more detail. He's learning the names of different parts of these closed figures, such as the height, base, diagonal, surface, and more. Let us see here how the elementary child explores with different materials the parts of the square. Priya here is working on the 3-part nomenclature cards. Vishwak Seni is exploring the same with the square inset. Guhan is working with the geometry stick material. Look at his concentration. That's the height. And here she's making the surface. By the age of 8, the child has learned the units of measurement and is exploring all over the classroom, measuring anything he gets hold of, from the length of the bookshelves to that of the doors, the height of his friends and that of his teachers. Let us watch the child here at work. Dayanatha here is arranging the metric measures from millimeters to kilometers. She's making note of the conversions that each of these make. She's measuring the chowki. She's measuring her mat. Calculating here with concentration and focus. All the knowledge he gains from studying parts of a square and measurement has sown the seed for wanting to learn area, and very soon the child is asking the adult to lead the way. And this sets the stage for the area presentation. The journey begins with the area of a rectangle. When as an adult we think of area, all that comes to our mind is the formula. But for the child, it is a discovery that leads to an internalization with understanding. Not just something to be memorized and forgotten. We learn the triangles are good at constructing. The square here is a measurer. The child begins with the yellow area material. He measures the area of the rectangle by breaking it into smaller squares. Simple addition of these squares lead them to the area of the rectangle. Repeated work and keen observation leads him from simple addition to multiplication, and bang, he connects it with the length and the breadth of the rectangle, and there the formula unveils itself. And here, the work itself lends to abstraction. Any question is now challenged by the simple use of a formula. Let us look at the children at work. This is the presentation of the area material. The squares from ornamental geometry material are used to calculate the area. Arthur here is measuring his rectangle with the help of a scale. Means is making all of his calculations. Children are working at the level of abstraction. They are marking their rectangles, finding the length and the breadth and the area. Such discoveries in the child's educational journey does not come to an end like the chapters in our textbook, but only leads them on. Now, they want to know all about volume. After all, they learned that such a term existed when they were learning measurements, capacity. The beauty of Montessori lies in the cosmic education it offers. All subjects are interconnected, one leading to another and at the same time deriving knowledge from yet another. Montessori offers the cosmos to your child. What more can one ask for? Thank you.
Thank you, teachers. It definitely gave a great insight about the Montessori method of learning. Before the show begins, I would like to invite our founder principal, Mrs. Smita Vishweshwar, to give you a brief about the concept portrayed today and to start the Annual Day 2016-17.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you here. Cosmic education. I like that word, cosmic education. It's the most confusing word for the coolest thing ever. It is the most happening thing in the Montessori classroom, as you saw. It is the word which unites us with great men like Stephen Hawking and Carl Sagan. It's a simple word which reveals a universal truth that everything is related. You cannot study mathematics if you do not understand history. You cannot study the clouds if you do not know the chemistry behind it. This holistic study and growth is a reality in the Montessori classroom. Subjects are not independent airtight compartments but are seen as puzzle pieces linking the universal story of cosmos. Why this cosmic education? Why not just individual subjects? You may all wonder as a parent. But yes, we need to know the whole picture to understand how every tiny piece gives structure to this great picture. Look at our world today. Say we take up global warming, which is a part of geography. The study of weather temperatures leading to ice melting, that's geography. The states of matter, which is physics. And that in turn leads us to birds covered in oil and animals getting endangered, which is diving deeper into zoology. And the numbers which are attached to it, which is mathematics, and the way you feel for it and you express yourself, which is language. And the links keep adding up. No action is an isolated event. At this point, I could not think of anyone better than Mr. Ramji Raghavan, an educator and founder chairman of Agastya International Foundation, a non-profit organization that focuses on projects that spark curiosity, creativity and leadership amongst underprivileged children. Mr. Raghavan embodies creativity, innovation, productivity and leadership. Each of these values is what each of your children need to emulate. He is blessed with the power of passion and uses the spirit of questioning and inquiry to dive deeper into everything he does. In saying so, think about the rishis in the Himalayas who are in a state of eternal bliss, primarily because they are not judging, but they are in the constant search of the unknown. To me, that is innocence at its best. To me, that is what each of your children personify. They have fresh answers